Asian American history studies are not a regular part of our school's education programs.
But that is about to change here in Illinois. Beginning this year, every public school and high school in Illinois must include a unit of instruction on Asian American history.
And joining us to discuss the impact of this is Grace Pye. She is the Executive Director of Asian Americans Advancing Justice here in Chicago. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's talk about what it took to get here. When you think of studying history, obviously American history is a staple, but it's important for us to know about other countries as well. What did it take to make this happen, and why is this so important?
Well, this is critically important, especially now, because we've seen a really stark rise in anti-Asian racism over the last 2 years related to COVID-19. We've seen a lot of people, and especially people in positions of power and political leaders, blaming Asian Americans for the pandemic and causing and inciting, I think, a lot of violence and backlash against our community. So in light of that, I think it's really important to teach American history with a fuller view in a more inclusive way. Asian Americans are part of American history, but often our stories are not told. So it's not so much about teaching about Asians, in Asia. It's more about talking about Americans and kind of telling a fuller story of who has contributed to American history.
Yeah, I really like that. A more full story, a more robust story, honestly, just a more complete story. What resources are you offering to teachers who have to meet this new requirement?
We know that teachers are under a lot of stress. It's been a tough 2 years, teaching with this pandemic and, going from virtual learning back to classrooms. And so we wanted to make it as easy as possible for educators to teach something that they might not have taught before. So what we've done is we provided two things. First, we offer a free 2-hour virtual professional development workshop that's available online to any educator. And that includes people who might not be in traditional classroom settings. And we're offering that in partnership with school districts and with teachers union, regional offices of education, et cetera. And then we're also offering a database of curricular resources that are all available online. So we kind of, scoured the internet for free quality curricular resources that include things like lesson plans, short video clips, discussion questions, essential questions. And we put those together into a searchable database to make it easy for educators to kind of find things that already fit in with lesson plans that they had planned.
Those resources sound amazing, Grace. Let me ask you, give us an example. What's a story from Asian American history that these students will be learning about this year that you think most people don't know about? I know that might be hard just to pick one, but if you had to, share one with our viewers.
Yeah, so one is the story of Larry Itliong and the Filipino farm workers. So a lot of people have heard about the Delano grape strikes and know the names Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, but what they don't know is that Filipino farm workers were actually the first to go on strike. And they went to Mexican farm workers and said, hey, let's join forces, let's go on strike together to really hold these grape growers accountable and to improve our working conditions, to fight for better wages. And that coming together is what really created this historic strike that most people, learn about as part of labor history. But the Filipino Americans who were part of that, Larry Itliong and others, are not told as part of that story. And so that's one example of multiracial solidarity, of communities of color coming together to fight for civil rights and for better working conditions that a lot of people aren't aware of, but that I hope people will learn starting this year.
Well, you just brought up something too that I know is important to you, and that is when we speak of Asian Americans, sometimes we are not focused on the big picture. Explain how that can make a difference too, and what we're talking about here.
Yeah, absolutely. The Asian American community is incredibly diverse, but when most people hear the term Asian American, they picture somebody who's East Asian, from Korean American, Japanese American, Chinese American, but that erases the diversity of our community. There are Asian Americans, who draw their roots to South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and other countries, or Southeast Asia, including the Philippines, Vietnam, Laos, etc. And so we really want to make sure that teachers are highlighting the full diversity of the Asian American community, including also Pacific Islanders who are sometimes lumped in with the Asian American community. There's a lot of difference in experience, whether that's immigration stories, right? A lot of Southeast Asians came here as refugees in the wake of the Vietnam War. Others have different immigration pathways. Some came for employment visas or work visas, which are very limited, right? Others came through family-based immigration because they had relatives here who were Americans. And so I think, highlighting people from those different regions and those different stories will help to really break down this myth that Asian Americans are a monolith and that we're all the same.
Yeah, Grace, I really appreciate being able to talk to you. We only have a couple of seconds left, but I do want you to explain the importance of the background that you're using today as well.
Oh, well, this is just kind of, it's a more traditional, I think, Japanese pattern in the background of my Zoom, just because, it's a boring wall behind me otherwise.
Yeah. All right, Grace, thank you so much for being here with us. Grace Pai with Asian Americans Advancing Justice.